so we can also access it later. We're going to put it on our YouTube channel. You can all watch it again and revisit all the nice things we're going to talk here about. But welcome to our Kickstart Your Career After Uni event. We're going to talk right now with Aleksandra, who is currently a data analyst lead in Trivago. She's gonna share with us about her story. But before we go through that, I would like to actually check in with our amazing participants around here, because I'm sure we have people coming from all over the world and living all over Germany, and we want to have a bit of a notion of who is here right now. So I would like you to get your phones right now, everyone, and scan this QR code. Then it's gonna take you to a page, Slido page, that is gonna ask you this question: which country you come from? If you cannot scan this QR code, you can just go to slido.com and type this code over here. Someone is writing on the screen. All right, so here we see that we have people from India, from Pakistan. Where else? You can just scan Iran, Iraq. Ooh, lots of Indians. Nigeria, that's super cool. There's the India happy face and the Indian non-happy face, but I hope you're also happy. Where else? UK, super nice. Sri Lanka. Russia, Brazil. Nice, I'm Brazilian too. Malaysia. Ooh, nice. So we're coming from very, very different places over here. Very nice to know. So you can keep on the page where you are right now, because I'm gonna change the question. 1 minute. Oh, Taiwan, welcome. So the question now is, which German city you live in? Because I'm sure we also have lots of diversity here right now. Tübingen, Berlin, Bochum, Weilheim, Stuttgart, Halle, Magdeburg. Whoa, we're all over. That's super cool. Berlin is big, so we might have lots of Berliners, but Köln is big too. That's a very nice topic. Which is more fun, Berlin or Cologne? I don't know. I cannot say. I live in Berlin. It's fairly hard for me to say, but I think Cologne is a pretty nice place too. Ooh, Weiden, Magdeburg. Awesome. We're also all over. Düsseldorf, Darmstadt. Super cool. So, very nice to have you all here, coming from all over the world, living all over Germany. That's exactly the goal for the night, to have lots of people joining and having a nice talk to us. I'm going to move a bit forward, because now you can keep this screen open and start asking questions to Aleksandra right now. She's going to answer it at the end of our conversation. But you can already send the questions and they're all going to be answered in the end. No question, not now, but I hope you have it in the end. I'm going to move forward, but will remain open. So keep it there. So before we start, I just want to introduce who I am, who we are, Diggies. It's very quick. Some of you already know us, but for those who don't, we're Diggies. I'm from Diggies, the German Association for International Students, and we are the largest community for international students in Germany. And our mission is to support every international student in Germany to achieve their dreams and goals. And we do this through a huge online community that has more than 20,000 members, local teams in more than 40 cities. We do this through building a strong community and allowing moments like this one in which you can learn and share with other people like you. And that's why we're super excited to be here right now. Right now, we are recruiting volunteers. So if you're not a volunteer at Digis, please consider to be one. And our city chapters are recruiting. If you want to register, you just need to go to this link, digis.info/membership and register. These are the areas we're looking for volunteers, and it's an awesome opportunity for you to gain practical experience and new skills. So if you have any doubts about it, just also write it on the comment on the chat here, then we can address it later. All right. So no further ado, I would like to ask Aleksandra to step in right now and introduce herself and bring us our very nice presentation. I can stop share right now, and then you can step in.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you all. I hope you can hear me well. Yeah, that sounds good. So let me share my screen and we can kick off, huh? So everyone sees the screen? Good, okay. So today we'll talk about making the leap from a student to a full-time as an international in Germany. My name is Aleksandra Chavdarova, and it's very nice to meet you all now officially, face-to-face. So let me then go to our agenda. Today we have a couple of topics, right? So the first one is obviously a bit more extensive introduction about who I am. Then we'll move to career paths aspects, and then we'll go to bridging the gap university to the industry. We'll finish with some wrap up and takeaways. And the most exciting part, at least for me as well, is to hear your questions, to interact with you, and to have a little bit of a time to kind of get to know each other. So again, this is me. I'm from Vidin, Bulgaria. I did not see anyone who's from Bulgaria. So yeah, I'm currently leading the Advertiser Intelligence team in Trivago. So I'm a data analysis lead, as Kara mentioned. And just quickly about myself, right? I came to Germany when I was 19 years old, freshly out of school. I did not have a leap year. I did not have, let's say, any big preparation except for knowing German, which was, I think, already good enough. I have chosen different universities to apply to in Germany with the conscious decision of wanting to move here, right? For not only studying, but also then evolving into the country, then learning from the country, and then obviously working in the country, right? So it was a big, long process. I've been here for 8 years, about 8 years. And for about 6.5 of those, I have worked at Trivago. So I had also one more year working before in the hospitality industry. I come from a very small town, very small family. I have an older brother. I speak 3 languages. Actually, now I also learn Spanish. So this is another new hobby of mine. So I speak German, English, Bulgarian, and a little bit of Spanish. I am a person who was always interested in technology, right? I come from a normal high school, so nothing too specific. And I was always very curious about how does the world outside of normal high school looks like? Getting a bit more specified of like, okay, I'm interested into building stuff my own way, and then making sure that I'm up to date with what technology is there to offer. And then somehow by having different hobbies and different interests, I landed into the decision of doing computer engineering. This is my degree. I chose it because I was always a person of logical explanations, logical breaking down problems. And then I moved to Germany, right? I studied both in English and in German, but at the same time, I studied international degree. So it meant like there were a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures, as well as we are here today. And let's begin to through the slides, right? The first topic is life as an international student in Germany, right? As I mentioned, I'm majoring in software engineering. This is my field of study, but one important part is also mentioning how is it like to be a tech woman in academia, kind of open a little bit of bracket up here. I've met very different people from different backgrounds with interesting and very different valuable stories, which I got to learn and get to know people, get to open up my horizon, right? Another thing which might come as a question, and I already want to anticipate an answer, is how does it work when you're in a man-dominated profession? It was not as easy as one would tell you, right? But I think something that really helped me was think about the narrative, like changing and motivating myself to actually change this narrative, to go above and beyond of what is expected of me, right? I want to show people that it is not just a man industry, and I think I'm succeeding. A little bit more about my interest within the tech industry and outside of it. So as I said, I was always interested in visualizations, in breaking down logical problems and making sure that I don't have to spend time learning stuff by heart. I was very happy to work in university in projects where I could actually shape and impact something from the beginning to the end. So this was something that I enjoyed a lot, and it's still the case in the industry, in my job right now. Yeah, again, as normal, I enjoyed every social aspect of university. It was one of the best years, right, of my life. And then, of course, something that it was always very interesting and very, very important when you're in university, as well as in the industry, is to make sure that you are up to date and informed of your surroundings. So that's exactly what I did. I was always interested of knowing not only what is happening within Germany and within my city, but also in general with how is the industry that I'm actually interested in there for the tech industry evolving. It's such a fast-paced industry, so it's very important to know what is happening. So this is something that I wanted to show, is from endless library nights, which you can see on the right hand side, to superheroes. These are different collection of pictures over the years of my life at university. We had a very different projects which were fun. As you can see, one of the superheroes here is a math lab project, making friendships with different cultures around the globe, then testing your resilience and motivation. For example, I was part of the student council with my university, and also having a little bit of a fun and party, right? Again, these are the topics that I want to kind of highlight to all of you. Then life at Trivago, right? As an international working student in Germany. So life as an international student is very different for me in the very beginning. I was working in the hospitality industry. I had nothing to do with my field of tech. I was working as a hostess. I was working as a bartender. I was just having a very simple job. So at some point I wanted to explore a little bit more and kind of start gathering experience, right? Because I knew that I would be working, so I might as well try to learn even more. And then I tried different professions, right? So something that we'll talk in a second about is try to find your passion, right? I try to find what makes me happy. I try to find what I want to do, actually. Then once I started working in Trivago, I had this real experience, like real world experience, where I could actually impact a business. And this was something that motivated me to continue working in the industry, as well as I think something that is very, very important is building this strong network with actually working professionals, people with experience, people you can work and learn from. Trivago as an employer is actually, I mean, over the last 6.5 years, I can very confidently say that they've been very supportive in my career development. Obviously, you have a lot of different senior role models that you can learn from, a lot of people that have different experience, not only from academia, but also in different companies that they used to work at. Trivago gives you also this very healthy work-life balance, which we all strive to have in our careers. Then, of course, Trivago was very, very kind to recognize my work for any university purposes. Basically, you can write your thesis, you can do any kind of practicums, any kind of internships, and anything along the way of making sure that the company is there and it supports you. And of course, it's full of various cultural events. These are some of them, right? So trivago is as excellent at tech as is at events. It's a very big company. We have 600 people, and it's not a very young company, which means like we have developed over the years of coming from productive hours, steep learning curves, and independence to actually make mistakes and learn from them, to, as you can see, summer or Halloween parties, different events, different cultural events as well, which I don't have all of them here, obviously, but as an individual, as a working student or a working professional in trivago, you always manage to find the people, and your place. So now a little bit more about my career path. I started in November 2016. I started as a QA. I was working in the in the quality assurance and management team. It was a very manual job, so it made me realize, okay, I like this part or the other part of trivago. So I went into campaign monitoring. I was then evolving into a product analyst in the automated bidding team. This was around October 2017. Then in May 2019, I decided to approach a new opportunity. I went to work as a data analyst in the search intelligence product team. So it was, again, something different, something new, something that I was very excited to try and learn from it, which in the end led me in February 2022, about a year and 2 months ago, right? I became the data analysis lead of data intelligence. Then going through bridging the gap of university to industry. The transition, right? It's something that I want to talk briefly about, how my education translated into actually applicable skills and how you can learn from it, right? So one thing as a data analyst that it's very important to know is that you have a lot of skills you learn, right? But there's a couple of them which are very, very important, and they'll keep coming to you. This is my perspective, right? So for example, I had the knowledge in statistical analysis and data manipulation. I had gone through a lot of programming as a software engineer, right? And then this helped me also put this knowledge to practice. Then I was distilling complex problems into effective and clear storylines. So again, this was something that I used every day. I learned from university, and it's an invaluable experience, which helps you develop further in the industry. And something as well, very interesting, something that I always really enjoyed was graph theory, which translates into building an understanding between the relationship of business metrics. The underestimated importance of soft skills. This is one very favorite topic of mine I want to briefly talk about, is how actually the underlying value of soft skills and their impact on your professional growth is one of a kind. So I've here underlined a couple of different topics, couple of points that I want to mention. Is we have critical thinking and problem solving. This is one very important skill which can be quite put at the backseat of anything that you think is important, but actually it is very important. Cohesive team collaboration towards a common goal. So here we have communication as a key, as well as networking and proactiveness, leading to very various unexpected opportunities. So here what I want to say is you build these relationships without any back thoughts, but you make sure that you actually, not only about yourself, but also about the others. You make friendships, it's natural, but in the end, it can evolve into a lot of unexpected opportunities, a lot of interesting input for you as well, and learning experiences. And again, also very, very important is the time and project management. It has been quite a key role, quite a key part of my role as an analyst and as a lead as well. Something, again, very, very important, right? Hiring process. I'm quite sure that all of you are very interested in this. Here we want to talk about the hiring process from inside to outside, and how I went from interviewee to a hiring manager. we have a couple of key factors, right, to land the job, and you're probably all interested into knowing how do you get this dream job of yours, right? I have gone through many processes. I've gone through so within the 6.5 years I've been in the company, I've gone through a lot of different processes from different angles. I've been 4 times, I've been an interviewee, I've done case studies, as well as I've been part of a shadowing. I've been part of the committee, so I've been shadowing people, interviewing until the point where I became a hiring manager myself. And couple of points I wanted to bring here, right? Practice makes perfect. The more you change, the easier it becomes. Something that is the same for me. In the beginning, I was not very good. I was very nervous. I didn't know how to approach a problem if I don't know how to answer it. But by the time I had my 4th interview in the company, and it was something that it came naturally. Then something very useful as well, and of utter importance, is to get insights into how to stand out in the process. Think about yourself. Think about what makes you the way that you are, what makes you special, what makes you stand out in a group of different people. Because obviously you compete against your peers, of people that also apply for the same position. But be passionate about it. Research what does the company do? Why did you choose this position, right? What makes you think about starting to work into a certain company? Make sure that you understand the core of how does the business work, how do they make money, how would I fit, what would be my role. Even if it's something that looks insignificant, it's still something that you need to find the value in it, and you need to think about that. But again, be honest and true to yourself, right? Nobody expects you to be perfect. None of us really are. Even if you have 10 years under your belt, it is still something that we all learn. And we need to know that there are certain things some people would be better at, but at the end of the day, you need to find what makes you stand out, and nobody would expect you to tick all the boxes in a CV, right? Yeah, it's a steep learning curve, right? You start from no experience, you start from just trying to find out what you need to cover in order to get a certain position, but try to keep a structure in what you're doing and how you want to become more competent. If you think about different topics you want to study, just try to prepare for an interview, try to organize it, try to think about the future proactively, think about what would make me a better candidate the next time. Learn from your mistakes, learn from every single process you're going through, take notes, and then go over them. Now, I wanted to speed a little bit because I would like to have a lot of questions. I would like to maybe talk about a little bit for each single question to leave a bit more time. So let's go through the summary and actionable takeaways. And the question of, is there a toolkit really? And what are the essentials, right? First, to answer the question, is there a toolkit? No, there is no toolkit. At least I haven't found a toolkit. But there is a lot of everything. There is some parts which make it much easier for you. There are some things which in the end you don't think that they'll make an impact, but they do. Right. So stay focused on your main goal, even if it is looking like it's far away. Think about what you actually want to achieve, why you're doing what you're doing, right? Then working in your field at an early stage really prepares you for life after university. It's not such a big shock if, let's say, you did not have ever worked during your studies, and then suddenly you have expectations towards yourself, and then you start as a full-time position. Then you also have a little bit of a different process as well into how to go to this role. Find your passion, right? Experiment with different professions until it really clicks. So I have changed 4 times my career, so to say, for different times. I have a little bit of let's say trial and error, and every time I got closer to what I wanted to do. Every time I got into the thought of this is it. I'm going into something that actually it's my thing, it is my it makes me happy, it is fun. And then again, something very important is to master the application process and know what your strengths are. Know what makes you a better candidate than someone else. And then a couple of personal recommendations. Stay informed about the industry you want to develop in and keep an open mind. Think about you're not only just ticking off courses of oh, I did a Coursera here, but think about also how does the industry change that you're working in, from a technical perspective, from a business perspective. Read articles, stay up to date. Embrace the development process, right? You should think about this as someone once told me, that be realistic and not perfectionist, because in the end, you'll never reach the perfectionism that you're striving for. So think about what makes sense and what is actually realistic to set as a goal. And yeah, do it your own way, right? Don't compare yourself. It can only demotivate you. Think about what you are doing, how you're doing it. And then something that someone told me in the very beginning of my career, it was like, oh, why are you working? Why do you not just focus on university and finish? Well, now in hindsight, it was one of the best decisions to just continue working and building experience, because if I look at it now, there is a lot of cases where people underestimate how much you actually learn through working. It's not just attending different classes, but it's also about doing the things, right? And your path is your path. It doesn't mean that you have to follow something the way that you expect it to, right? A lot of things I did not think that I would be a lead, or that I would be interested to work with people in the way that managing them. But yeah, it's something that now it's really an important part of my life. And don't be afraid to adjust your plans. You don't need to finish university within 4 years and then directly start being a full-time professional, but think about the positives of each side. So plans change, and it's fine, right? Don't be afraid of the change, and embrace it, right? So thank you. I hope I was not too fast, and I hope you have questions for me.
That was so nice, Aleksandra. Thank you so much. Yes, we already have some questions. I can share the screen.
Sure.
So
Let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we are. So here are the questions we have so far. 8 questions. So nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking, everyone.
Let's go through them, and maybe we can answer them. We don't promise we will be able to answer everything, but we'll try our best. So how is the situation for English speakers in German job market for general IT domain? Do you have any idea on this?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean, the general IT domain, but I'll try to answer anyway. So I think it is very, very broad, right? You can have so many different opportunities. There are so many different companies and colleagues of mine that have switched from trivago, coming from different companies to trivago, from again, English-speaking companies. So in trivago, we have about, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 different cultures, right? So everyone is speaking in English. And as far as I know, there is actually a lot of different jobs. So when people also apply to trivago, they have they've been coming to us with certain set skill, and we ask them what is the company they're coming from. Sometimes once they get hired, they like to share their experience, their input. There is a lot of different companies. Even in Cologne, I can think some. In Berlin, there is a lot of different startups, I think, which everything is based in English. I think it also makes sense to have it in English, right? How do you translate programming to German as well? It's very, let's say, very international when it comes to tech in English. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, I can add to that I for my experience, I do believe tech field in general is more open for English speakers. than other fields here in Germany. Not that you don't need to speak German at all, but usually yes. But we can go to the next one. Is it
Can I
possible?
quickly add to that?
Yes,
Just
please.
a tiny addition. And by the
Sure.
way, my name is Ololade, and I work for Trivago as an employer branding specialist. So I think that in terms of English-speaking jobs in Germany, the goal is to target international companies, right? If you want to find jobs that are in English, just look for international companies, and there are quite a number of them. If you take your time and search, you would find them.
I can even give you some examples, right? Trivago one for sure. Then we also have DeepL as well. Then we have
Delivery
we have
Hero.
couple Delivery Hero. Yeah, that's true. We have yeah, more. It's just at the top of my head. Yeah, there is SumUp as well in Berlin, I think. There is Metro Market as well in Düsseldorf. There is a lot of them, right? It's just you need to be take your time to research, and especially when it comes to tech, you can really find a lot of opportunities. But again, my advice is to also don't forget about German, because it's something that really helped me integrate in the country. And then once you also know more people, they may know more companies that you can apply to. So
Super true. So this one is interesting to you. Is it possible to get a job without any internship experience? Depends on the job, I think, right?
Depends on the job, right? It's are you looking for a senior position without any experience? It would be tough. It would be, I would say, very tough. But everyone starts from somewhere, right? I did not have any internship experience before I started. This is how your experience. You're not going to land one of the best jobs in your life when you begin your career. You progress towards it. You learn to it. You get more. You get better at what you do, and that is fine. It's just in the beginning you're fine, right? You need to find something which is not necessarily asking for experience. I mean, there is always going to be some experience that you can provide from university. There is a lot of things that you can do on the side, which is maybe not taught at university. It is still experience. It's just a matter of utilizing this in the hiring process. I did not have any experience when I started. As I said, I came from a hostess job, bartender job, and then I started as a QA. And then once I started as a QA, it was also easier to gather more and more experience. The more you work, the better you will become.
Very nice. Now, a very, very interesting question to you, Aleksandra. So from Heider, thank you for identifying yourself. What are some of professional life aspects that are special to Germany that you wished you knew before you started working?
What are some professional life aspects that are special to Germany?
I think mine, like culture in workplace, things like this.
I mean, it is just being respectful. It's something that is always very valuable. Know that you're also an individual when you work with individuals, right? You're working towards the same goal. Just being understandable, being adaptable, try to put yourself into the shoes of others. And this is always making life of everyone easy. I guess that's what you mean, right? So I probably wish I knew a lot of things to think about this. Yeah, again, soft skills, right? So I think this is my main answer. I wish I knew soft skills were more important than hard skills in the very beginning of your career. Motivation as well.
Cool. Another anonymous question. How can I apply for the jobs in Germany with only English skills or without speaking German?
Yeah, so I think you can apply in Germany to jobs with only English skills. Of course, always, right?
If the position doesn't require German, you can.
It is, yeah, exactly. It's a lot of positions that don't require German, especially in tech. But again, my very personal recommendation is learn German. Learn while you're still in university. Try to connect with people. Try to kind of listen to some songs and read some news. It's something that would always make it easier for you to integrate, even when you start a job and you don't need English skills. It is, I think, a very big benefit. Trivago, it's not a requirement to speak German, but it is also nice, right? You know the language in which country you're living in. So
Yeah,
it's
if I
good
could
to have
add,
both.
yeah, if I could add to that, like if you want to know where to look for positions, I would really recommend going to portals like LinkedIn and looking for the job descriptions that are written in English, because if it's written in German, for sure it's gonna require German. So look for these positions that are mostly written in English, check the requirements. But many companies that recruit for English speakers put it on LinkedIn. But as Aleksandra said, like learning the German language is not only because of the idiom itself, it's also about culture integration, right? When you learn the language, you integrate, you learn about what are they thinking, the way they're thinking. So I also think it's something to invest.
Exactly. It is an investment for yourself, especially if you want to stay in Germany, if you want to experience more of the culture and get to be more integrated within the job itself, within the company. Even if the company doesn't expect you, it's always a good point. Let's put it that way. There's a lot more questions. Maybe I can try speeding up my answers. Apologies if I'm taking my time.
Yeah, let's go forward. Like, is a Google Analytics course valuable when applying for jobs?
I don't know which course specifically you ask, but GCP is a big system that every company, at least like not every company, but a lot of big companies use. So Google Cloud Platform, anything that has to do, for example, any products of Google as well are very widely used, like Looker as well, Google Query as well. I think these are generally courses that Google provides. Some of them are basics, so it's always good to know the basics before you start.
Oh, and can you compare the career paths for a CS graduate in a startup versus a well-established company? Have inputs on this?
That is a very good question. I haven't worked in a very small startup, right? So I cannot probably give you a very well-rounded answer to this. But I think in a bigger company, right? In a well-established company like Trivago, in a very big tech company, you have a lot more possibilities to learn from people that are much better than you. I am still learning every single day from people that have a lot more experience than I do. But on the other hand, in a small company, as a startup, you obviously have, let's say, the chance to kind of do a lot more things, not just what your role is, but also you have probably a lot of things which I personally wouldn't like to do. I would like to be very specific about the role that I'm doing, especially now in hindsight. But yeah, I think startups also give you a lot of opportunities as well to learn by doing a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's probably
for sure.
easier as well to find. There's so many startups in Berlin. If you're living in Berlin, there's probably a lot of startups there as well.
Yeah, here it's like you go to one street, there are startups from both sides. It's super interesting.
Exactly. I know a lot of people that from Berlin that work in startups just because the culture, you have a lot more startups to choose from.
That's true. That's super true. So there's one here that maybe Ololade can also help us with this. So from Ritima. Hi, Ritima. Nice to have you here. Can I work in Trivago at Heidelberg City offline or even online with English skills? Also German skills, but a little bit. How can I apply?
Yeah, can I just personally speak? So, hi.
Hi.
So, the thing is, I have already worked at some restaurants and I do converse with the people in German, but a little bit. Yeah, but I have gained the confidence to somewhat speak. But right now, I'm not working anywhere, and I'm really looking forward to work part time at least with my studies. I'm studying right now MSc in economics. So yeah, I was planning to work, and just now I saw that Trivago is a good company. So yeah, just that's fine.
Okay, thanks for your question, Rithima. like Aleksandra already said, most of our jobs are requiring English anyway, so you would be fine, right? If it's with a little bit of German. The only jobs in trivago that require hardcore German, I would say, would be the legal services, some part of it, or even the employment services, because they have to know the German labor system. But apart from that, the question of working with trivago, if you are not living close to Dusseldorf. So the thing is, currently at our company, we have a work policy where we have to be on campus 3 times per week. So as a student, I think yours would be 2 times per week. If you can commute to the Dusseldorf campus 2 times per week, then this is really not a problem, because we believe in person collaboration and how it helps to increase productivity. Actually, Aleksandra is in the office right now as we speak.
Exactly. I'm in the office, so you can kind of have a sneak peek.
Yeah. So the real question is, do you like, because you said you have economics background. So at the moment, we don't have any opportunity in that background, but I would say that you should sign up to our talent pool, and I will share the link so you can just be alerted when we have opportunities for you. But I would say generally, as a student, you should keep an open mind, because there are jobs that you can do even though you don't have the, I would say, like technical background. There are some skills that are transferable from economics to, I don't know, maybe QA that you can apply. And then
data analytics as well. Sorry.
Exactly.
Actually, I'm specializing in analytical economics. So yeah, that's completely fine. My only concern is like, are some of the jobs in trivago, like they work online as well? Like they require online attention rather than offline?
What do you mean offline? Sorry.
Offline means like in person, if I have to come there, but I am preferring, like sometimes the, companies or the like hotels, even like they have some online work as well. So that's what I'm mainly looking for.
We don't have any jobs that are like online where you can work from wherever you are and not come to the campus.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you cannot work from home on some days, but right now our policy is hybrid, where you work from the office on some days and then you work from home.
Okay. I got it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You should, just to add to what Ololade was saying, you should keep an open eye, because at some point you never know when maybe life anyway puts you on Trivago's path, or you move to Düsseldorf. It's actually a very nice city to live in. Yeah, so you can always have my name into the reference, or yeah, you can just message me on LinkedIn as well, or
Sure.
exactly follow the link that Ololade shared. It's as long as you're in our talent pool, then it would be much easier for you to keep an open eye.
Sure. Thank you so much for your guidance.
Thank you for the question.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move on with a few other questions. Call an anonymous here, asking, how did you, Aleksandra, balance your study with work time?
That is actually a very, very good question. So I did balance it very poorly in the beginning. A couple of times I did forget to kind of let's say sign up for all the exams I wanted to sign up for, but there was a lot of learning from it, right? So I think in the end you have to be true to yourself, right? You have to set priorities and say like, okay, I would like to spend this time on studying, even though it's longer than what your colleagues are doing. You have to say, okay, I'm not going to go this party because I need to catch up with my studying. And then yes, this is how sometimes you have to make sacrifices, right? If it's a job in your field which you know you're learning from, then I think the sacrifice is justified. This is how I managed. I did a lot of times extra hours of studying when I wish I was partying, but in the end it was very, let's say, fruitful for me, because I did gather the experience while working. You have to be strict as well. You have to be strict to yourself. You have to say, okay, I have to work on this day, so I cannot really go partying the day before. Things like this, just set your priorities, right? Did this answer your question?
I guess it did. I think it was a nice answer. Anyway,
Thanks.
another question, is it possible to become a data analyst without experiencing programming language? What do you think, Aleksandra?
I think it would be much easier for you if you have programming skills, but in the end, you can find a position which doesn't require it in the very beginning. For example, I think you can, if you have studied economics, it's already quite a valuable and transferable skill. It's just you need to make sure that you learn on the side, right? It doesn't need to be a university degree, but it can be different courses that you do and you want to develop, because you can't be an analyst without Python. You can't be an analyst without R or any SQL, or knowing the technologies, doing a little bit of statistics. It always involves programming in one way or the other. Even though it's not, let's say, I don't know what your background is, but for example, if you think of programming only as Java or JavaScript or anything like this, C, C#, all of these are still programming, but as well as Python is. So I would say it really depends on where you start in your career. At some point, you would be needed for sure. So I would say start early, right? If you know you want to become a data analyst, if this is something you're interested into, I would say try to find some courses online, even if you don't have it at university.
Okay, so there was another question in the chat that also connects to this one. Daniel asked if Trivago has office in Berlin or cities nearby, and Nololade already answered saying that the office, it's only in Düsseldorf here in Germany. But there's this other question from Ritima again here, saying talking about her sister who is in the field of hospitality and tourism, and asking if Trivago would be the good destination for her as a job, but if she plans to move to Spain or other Netherlands. Ololade, do you have any background on this, like other countries that Trivago might be in?
So we are based in Düsseldorf. In the past, we used to have an office in Spain, Palma, but since Corona, we closed that office and now operate from Düsseldorf. And as I mentioned, the reason is because for our culture, we believe that being together, like we have 80 plus nationalities, people coming from all over the world. And when we are together in one space to work together, then we learn, then we grow. And this is why we try to bring people to the campus, right? So this is the answer to the question of the location, but in terms of the work experience, I really can't say, right? Even though she's in the tourism field, I don't know exactly what skill set or specific job profile, but she could take a look at our jobs and see if there is a fit for her.
Yes, yes, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have a few more questions here, and I think they're more like in the personal advice side from Aleksandra and her experience and how she went through her career development. One is interesting, like how do you network? How do you build like a network? How was your experience towards this during your life here in Germany?
How do you network? Yeah, this is, I think it's very personal, right? I network in one way, and you probably should not exactly follow my type of networking, and it should come naturally. Networking is not a hard skill that you learn. It's something that comes out of how you are as a person, how do you communicate with people. But one thing is just approach people, right? Even if you don't know them, even if you don't work with them, if you see them in an office or somewhere you work with, or in university, or in a bar in Germany, why not, right? Just talk to them. People are usually very open, I think, in my experience. Or if they're not, then these are people that you don't want to network with anyway. I think it's, yeah, again, it's something very personal. I, for example, I can be very chatty, and I think in Trivago, it has given me this opportunity of drinking a beer, going by someone's desk. We have this culture of being very open, being kind of, working very closely together. So you actually do make friends, and we party together. So it's very easy to kind of after work you have a beer and then you talk to people. Maybe someone sits next to you or across the cafeteria when you're having a coffee downstairs at the barista, right? This is again something that it is networking, but it just depends. You cannot push yourself. It needs to come from within you. It needs to be specific to how you are.
Yeah, if I could add to that, that was a big concern of mine because back in Brazil, I'm from Brazil, I had a big network, and when I came here, this network wasn't around anymore, right? And so I had to rebuild the network over here. And yeah, I also have like more open personality where I connect to people, but mostly I started thinking, which are my interests and how can I find people who share my interests somehow? And that's maybe the most natural way of connecting to people.
Sports.
And another suggestion that I have to you, if you're not in Digis is a very nice way of connecting to people because they're all internationals who live in Germany, who are seeking for building a community, who are seeking to connect to each other, to learn from each other. So if you're not in Digis, you can join us at any moment. Just go to digis.info/membership, and then you can become one of our nice volunteers and come to our events. Is always really, really, really nice. Yeah, another question. What are the common mistakes people make in job applications which lead to rejection?
This is very nice, actually. From personal experience as well as from a hiring manager experience, I would say people, even if you're not ticking off all the hard skills that are required for a certain job, there is always a company fit, a team fit, just basically how you're going to work with these individuals. You spend a lot of time with those, so it's very important to see whether you actually fit the team in terms of being actually open, communicative, for example. But one I would say mistake, as in soft skill mistake, is people being very arrogant. I think it's very hard to kind of think, like, okay, if someone is very arrogant, then probably they'll get a rejection at some point because they're just not being, let's say, very nice to other people, and they'll have to work in a team, I would say, at the top of my head. But I would say lying as well about your experiences. It's very easy to prove this once you start a process. If you say that you're very good at Python, and then there is going to be some sort of a process where we check this, obviously, at least in trivago perspective, that is very easy to find the lie. One thing that always helps people in interview processes is being humble, right? As I said, it's just be open. You're not perfect. Just say that you're very willing to learn. You don't know all the stuff, but you're motivated. So these are the positive sides that help you in an interview process. But yeah.
Cool. We have 2 more minutes, and 2 more questions. Can we go through them? I can ask all of them at once, and then you
Of course.
give a wrap
I mean,
up.
I can stay until all the questions are done, but
We have one more question here, but
okay.
yeah, let's not just go forward. What is an efficient way to learn German around C1 to level from only A2 B1 while still studying? And someone else saying that it's coming for their master degree and would like some piece of advice in general to develop themselves as a person and professional during the course. So one is developing specifically in German language, and another more of general piece of advice for development.
Okay, so let me start from German specifically. I'm officially a C1 level, I think. So I did start from very basic in high school, but let's imagine your situation, right? You're A2, B1. There's a lot of people in Trivago who started studying German when they were already working, which is more or less similar situation like yours if you're studying, or maybe even, even basically easier when you're studying. So I don't know if you're studying in English or in German, but let's assume it's in English. I would say a lot of reading news, reading articles, listening to news, because this is a very proper German that they speak. So it is easier to hear. It's easier to kind of to know new words. It is reading as well. Just try to highlight all the words you don't know. Try to use them. And one of the very, very best way to kind of step up your skills in German is just speak to Germans. Try to meet people in university which are German. If you know some others, it's really nice. But if you don't know Germans, it's also fine. Just talk to people that are also willing to learn German. You can study together. You can talk to each other. You can try to correct each other, as well as listening a lot to other conversations. Maybe you're in a bar or a coffee and then people are speaking German around you. It's also a very good experience to get used to how the language sounds. Then do IT companies, is this the one? Yeah, right? Require language proficiency certificates, or am I good as long as I'm proficient in the language? I don't know about language proficiency. In Trivago, we require, I think, B2 English. I mean, okay. So if you're going to work in one language, you need to be proficient in it. You need to know how to communicate with people. It is a very important skill, because if you're very good in technically something, but you can't speak to your stakeholder or you can't speak to your colleagues, it is in vain. So as long as you're calm, you're happy to let's say, learn even better English, because the more you speak in English, the more you're going to get better. But we don't need certificate, or at least for Trivago, we don't need certificate.
Yeah, I mean, the question is more like when you apply, you have to submit a certificate to prove that you speak the language.
No, you don't. In
Okay.
Trivago, you don't need to apply a certificate when you apply for a job. But we check this, right? During the process, we have an extensive processes, but they're very easy if you're well prepared, if you're actually not lying and you're very open about what you know. And then the last question was, I would like to switch my career from tech to pharmacy, I assume. Pharma. As a fresher, would you suggest any courses that would benefit me getting an idea on data analysis? Oh, that's what you mean. Sorry. Yeah, I would say there is general basic courses, right? Data. I mean, at the top of my head, I will have to probably search for, but there is some stuff in Coursera. There is a lot of general courses online which are not paid. In, for example, YouTube, there is a lot of universities that provide this kind of overview of statistics, and you can go from very basic to let's say hypothesis testing, anything that has to do with machine learning as well, depending on how deep you want to go, obviously. But again, Python, anything that has to do with manipulating data, cleaning data, SQL, of course, very, very important. You have to kind of know. So there is a lot of courses online. I think you actually, once you do a course or two, you'll find out what is more interesting, whether this course was good or not, because the more things you learn and look into videos or courses, maybe you do a GCP course, the more you'll know whether this course was good or not for you. There's different courses, right? There's a lot of courses which actually have a lot of videos. There are courses which do have a lot of practical exercises. I would say try to find a mix of both. Don't go too technical, because in terms of not technical, but too many videos or too much reading, because in the end, at the job, you have Google in front of you. You'll be able to search. It's not like an exam. So you need to be kind of adaptable anyway. I think I answered all of them, right? Or
yeah, I think we went through all of them.
Nice.
Awesome. Lots of questions, lots of insights. And I would like to ask if Ololade have anything else to add also?
No.
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
already shared the...
Yeah. I mean, it was really nice from my perspective. It was really nice to meet you and also share experience from Aleksandra's side to help you in your career. I think that, I mean, it might be difficult right now, but just keeping on. I also started in Germany as a student, and over time, Trivago gave me the opportunity. So I would say that if you want to work in a place like Trivago, just follow us on social media so you can keep in touch with what we're doing, and opportunities arise from time to time, and you never know, right? Feel free to also include in your application that you met Aleksandra or myself. if you could fit as a referral, then we can also refer you, and then you have a higher chance of getting into the company. So that's what I would say.
Awesome.
And just
Thank you so
to
much. Oh, go
thank
ahead.
you. Oh, sorry, I was interrupting. I just wanted to say thank you as well from my side for all the questions, all the interest. I hope I was useful. I hope that you managed to learn at least one thing from me today. And as Ololade said, you never know when you have an opportunity. I also didn't know about trivago until it just happened that I learned from a friend, right? So yeah, it might be hard. Sometimes it's really hard, but sometimes it's very, like, you're proud about what you did. So keep on going as well.
Awesome. I also want to thank all of you, Aleksandra, Ololade, but also everyone who joined us this evening. At Diggies, we are always trying to open spaces like this so our network and every international student in Germany can have access to knowledge and experience and cool things. So thank you all for joining. You're all gonna get like a thank you email and with the recording of this conversation and other nice information. And keep following us also on social media to know more about other cool things like this today. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice evening and hope to see you
Bye-bye.
soon.